Hello, it's time for Math with Beth, and we are going to do graphing quadratic equations. We are going to look at graphing them from vertex form, intercept form, and standard form. So, vertex form, this is how it should be set up. So A, H, and K should all be numbers. A lot of times the A will just be a 1, so there'll be nothing there. But the H and the K is where the vertex comes from. So the vertex is H, which means it's the opposite of whatever number is in here, comma, K, whatever number is out here. So looking at this one that looks similar, the vertex will be 3, -1. But we'll get to that one in a second. So first, let's just look at the parent graph, which means what does a normal parabola look like when it's just y equals x squared? Well, it starts at 0, 0, goes over 1, up 1 on either side, and over 2, up 4, because we're squaring the 2 to get 4. If I went over 3, I'd have to go up 9, because I'd square the 3. So if you know what your normal parabola looks like, then you'll be able to use this information to graph this parabola wherever it moved. And because you'll understand that this 2 is just going to make it go up faster. So whatever we normally would do, we're going to double how much we're going to go up. So instead of over 1, up 1, when I go to graph this one, I'm going to go over 1, up 2, because I'm going to double that. Over 2, I'm going to go up 8, because I'll double that. So, like I said, the vertex of this one will be 3, -1, because the opposite of this one as is. So 3, -1 is the vertex. You could plug in a bunch of other points if you want to, but if you understand what a parabola normally looks like, and that this 2 is just going to double how much it goes up, you can just graph from here. I'm going to go over 1, up, double what I normally do. So that means over 1, up 2, and then over 2, up, again, double what I normally do. So since I normally go over 2, up 4, I'm going to go over 2, up 8. It would be somewhere up here. Over 2, up 8. So it should be a skinnier parabola because it's going up faster. Okay, so same idea for this one. The vertex is -1 because of the opposite, +3. So I'm going to start there. And then because of this, I know this parabola is going to go down because of the negative, and it's going to go down half as fast as it normally does. So whatever I normally do, I'm going to do half that much. And that's just with the up and down. So I'm going to still go over 1, but instead of down 1, I'm going to go over 1, down half, over 1, down half, over 2, down 2, because I normally do 4. And so what's half of 4? 2. So this one is going down because of the negative, and it's wider because of that 1/2. This is not the only way to do it. I have another video where I showed you how you could do this with a table. But if you understand vertex form, all you need to really understand is what that 2, what that 1/2 would do to the shape, and you can graph these pretty quickly. Okay, what if it is in intercept form or factored form, which means it looks something like this. It looks like someone has factored it. This is the form where you could easily get the x-intercepts because x-intercepts come from setting this equal to 0 and solving. Since it's factored, it's easy to solve this because we can set each of these equal to 0 and solve. So +1 and -3 are the two x-intercepts. Now, because there's no negative in front, we know that this is a parabola that opens up. So our vertex must be somewhere down here. The vertex will always be halfway in between these two intercepts. So halfway in between -3 and 1 would be -1. So I know my vertex is -1 something. So I'm just going to take that -1 and plug it in here. So -1 minus 1, -1 plus 3 gives me -2 times 2, which is -4. So my vertex must be -1, -4. And that's enough to graph my parabola. So I graphed my two intercepts from setting this equal to 0. And then I knew wherever the middle was, which was -1, I needed to have a vertex there. So I plugged in -1 to get the y value. So let's try that again. I'm going to set this equal to 0. Once you get the hang of this, you don't really need to show this work. 2 can never equal 0, so I can ignore that. X minus 5 equals 0 when x is 5. X plus 1 equals 0 when x is -1. So 5 and -1 are my two x-intercepts. Again, I know this opens up, and my vertex must be halfway in between, which would be at +2. So my vertex is +2 something. So let me plug it in. 2 minus 5, 2 plus 1, 18. So, did I do that right? Oh no, this should be a -3. So I knew something was wrong because 218 would be up here, and then that would make it opening down. So I knew something was wrong. I missed a negative, so it should be 2 -18, which makes more sense because I knew it should open up. So 2 intercepts and the vertex, and you can draw the parabola. Last form is standard form. Standard form is the hardest one because you don't know anything right away. In intercept form, I can very easily tell you the two x-intercepts. In vertex form, I can very easily tell you the vertex. In standard form, there's nothing really I can tell you right now except that it opens up and it's going to be kind of skinny because of that too. But part of the quadratic formula is going to help us here. The opposite of b over 2a, which is part of the quadratic formula. Because this is the whole quadratic formula. Do you see that -b over 2a is this part? So that's where that comes from. That is going to give us the x of our vertex. So remember, this is your a, this is your b, this is your c. So supposedly, if I do the opposite of b, so in this case, that would give me a +4 over 2 times a. That is the x value of my vertex. So our vertex is 1, comma, I don't know yet, but I can take that x and plug it in to get the y value. So 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 1, 2 minus 4 plus 1 is -1. So my vertex is 1, -1. Great, I have 1 point. So I can now plug in some other values, or I can just use the 2 and know what that means as far as the shape of this parabola. It means I go over 1 up 2, because that's twice as much as I normally go up, over 2 up 8. Just kind of approximating the 8 there. So again, if you're comfortable with what that first letter or first number means, the 2 means we go over 1 up 2, over 2 up 8, because that's double what we normally do. Then all you need is to find the vertex using the formula, and then you're good to go. So let's try one more. I'm going to start by finding the x value of my vertex. So I'm going to do the opposite of b over 2 times a. So -2 over 2 times -1/2, which is -2 over -1, because 2 times a half is 1, and there's a negative there. So 2. So my vertex is +2 something. So I'm going to plug +2 into my equation and see what I get. 4 times a -1/2 is -2. So 2 minus 5 is -3. So that's my vertex. Now, where should I go from there? This -1/2 out front means I'm going to go down, and I'm going to go down half as much as I usually do. So over 1, down a half, over 1, down a half, over 2, down 2, because we normally do over 2, down 4 if we were going down. So it goes down, and it's a little wider than normal. So those are the 3 methods. I hope that helped, and I'll see you next time. Bye.